Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Thursday. It's about 1 p.m. June 25th, 2020. Just want to give you guys an idea of what I think about S&P right here, market in general. The last few days I do not like the reversal that we had. It's this leg up that we had, this last leg up and pullback is different than any leg up and pullback that I've seen since the market started to top out when we called the island top reversal here, and I made a video saying I think the market tops in. We're looking at the S&P 500 here. Obviously, the Nasdaq's a little bit different, but I'm wondering how long the Nasdaq can continue to be as resilient as it is. We do get a little bit of a bounce today in the SPY, but the internals look weak here, so I'm a little bit cautious and a little bit suspect. The thing I don't like to see is, well, let's look at our channels here first of all. The yellow channel is a very long established channel that I've been using, and we've kind of tapped all these bottoms and tops along the way from the beginning of this rally, and we're looking at the important candles of transition. And for the first time, we've really closed below. That was yesterday. Now we're trying to back test that upper channel line. Then you have this little sideways downward trajectory candle, which I think we're going to follow now. In other words, we pull up, we break through that, we retest the upper longer term yellow channel, we back test this descending channel line, and then we fall back, hit on the bottom of it, go back up, try to break through, and then pull back again. And now there is another channel line here, so I know there's a lot going on here, guys, so bear with me. And we're just about breaking inside that one. We broke into it early this morning, and then we had a lot of energy coming off what I've been using as a 45-day moving average, and then pulling back up. So the internals I don't like are the McClellan oscillator that we've been using. I still think we're going to go down and retest the 297, 298 area. I just don't know whether we get back up to 306 first. So the market really needs to get into the 306s and remain there. This is more of a market of time than of price, meaning that if we go hit 306, I'm not going to be super impressed. We hold above 306 and change for a few days, and then at least I'll know that the market is trying to find some stability here. Right now, I don't see a lot of stability in the market. Sometimes they say, the most uncomfortable trades are the best trades. And there's plenty of uncomfortable trades going on right now when you look at stuff like Boeing and Norwegian Cruise Lines. And that's part of the reason I didn't like this market coming in, is that a lot of those, and I get it, they're all, day trade specials, the retail investors piling into those. But just the movement that we saw in the last few days, and I'll show you some charts, was not healthy in some of those stocks that we follow, like Raytheon, and they just broke some trends that are a little bit alarming. So let's load into the McClellan oscillator, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. It's a market strength study. And we've been using this for a while on the bottom, and it's been keeping us out of the market short when we thought the market was going to bounce. And here's the issue, that we started to break below the red line in the last few days, even though we've kind of had this little bounce. The bounce was weak. Even though we got up to some higher price points, we've never been able to get over this little top area on the oscillator. Even when we reached the all-time recent high in S&P on the island top reversal, the New York Stock Exchange oscillator on this broader average could not get above that level, which meant that once again it was a narrow movement to the upside. And now we're kind of breaking down below some levels that we haven't seen even on much lower price points in the S&P 500. So not a good indicator, especially when you look, and let's go into some particular stocks like Boeing. Like, we get it's not going to be up every day, and bear with me because we're going to kind of zoom in here. Boeing really never should have broken this little lower trend line in here, and now it's below the 20-day moving average. And once again, this is just using simple charts. It probably should have kept this little wedge in here, and probably should have held somewhere along the 181 area, and not a problem, right? Big move to the upside, pullback, bounce. We should have kind of started riding this line over here to the right, and kind of stayed along there with a little bit more strength to the upside. Gradual moves. We don't expect it to go right back to 230, but we wanted it to kind of curl up, and instead it broke back down, and then now it's back testing. Especially when you look at it like intraday to day. with this market weakness, you'd expect this to have a little bit more, a little more bounce to it. Instead, we're retesting bottoms 3 times. Like I said, sometimes the best trades are the most uncomfortable trades, but market pullbacks, you don't want to see a three retest of an area ongoing. Same thing with RTX. RTX, I traded today and just had to let go of it. I just couldn't get back, above this trend line here on this Fibonacci retracement at the 60-50 area. Once it gave it up, I had to let it go, and it's kind of letting me know that the internals of the market are getting a little bit weaker here as the day goes on, and that's not a good sign. So I wanted it to kind of hold this little trend line in here and then pop right here and then go back to the upside, but instead it rolled back over and then it retested the Fibonacci and then it's heading back down again. So these aren't good movements that I like to see. Let's look at like the airlines. FLY, I believe it is, or flies, is it? Or it's jets, JETS. So the airlines, same thing. We need to get back above. We need to hold above 1630, and it's not holding that 1630 area. And we can look at a 1 year on this as well, and this is the airline ETF. And wide range, right? So here's the channel on JETS. So we get it. Big bounce, right? We're starting to create channels. We break down that channel, we pull back up, and then we gap through it and then back test it. So perfect scenario, right? Back test the channel, and then that launches the big move up. I've been using a 180-day moving average. 200 is way up here, but I've been kind of lowering mine, 180s and 45s instead of 200s and 50s. But now we're below all 3 moving averages. We never got above the 180, by the way, but below the 20, below the 45, and we're retesting this lower channel here. So once again, maybe some of the best trades are the most uncomfortable trades, but we've literally back tested the channel. God, we'd hate to see this go below 1570 on a close, and we want to see it get above 1630 and hold it intraday, and it's starting to roll back over too. So not really impressed with the internals today. We did see a little bit of a bounce in oil off of, first of all, we couldn't get above the 200 exponential on the top end, and then we pulled back to a horizontal support and we bounced from there. So if you see like UCO today, it's been pretty good intraday. Nice move after we back tested that little area around 26 yesterday, and now we're kind of starting to curl up and we're just right above that channel too. So who knows? It might be a one and done bounce on oil as well. And here's the chart we look at on light sweet crude that I've been using. Let's look at the 1 year. So not a healthy market here to say the least. I still think we're going to go lower. But do I want to chase it here? I want to kind of give it some room and see what happens. So the 20-day exponential moving average is what we bounced off of on light sweet crude. And here was the false breakout above the 180. The 200 is probably, if we adjust this, we'll probably see that this one falls more in line with some traditional technical analysis. And we probably hit the 200-day. And I talked about it yesterday on Twitch, which we did. There you go. So you can see we hit the 200-day moving average to the penny, and then big price rejection, and now we're pulling back down. And there's a little bit of a bounce here off the 20. Hard to say if that lasts, right? Because now you've literally hit the 1, 2, 3 day kind of closing intraday support at 38.91, and then you're pulling back. So that might be a little bit of an issue here too as well today. So we could have seen the high in oil. Who knows? We're going to find out more later, but I don't like the internals in the market here, so let's be a little bit cautious. Big trades for today was EKSO, I believe, Exo Bio. There is a big resistance low at 855. It pushed through there, and this has to do with this pivot back in here from a long time ago. And I'll show you why 855 was a big resistance. I'll be impressed if it can close above there. 860. So here's the last candle before the gap down, right? And this is a while back, and let's zoom in and kind of see, right? This is the high of the last candle before this gap down a long time ago. I don't know the exact time frame, but this is a 2-year chart. So if we kind of zoom in from there, right? There's the pivot break, a lot of stranded traders. And then 870 became kind of a resistance area today. So we may have already seen the high in this. But this has a channel from another pivot break that it retested, pulled back, and then that was literally the open. We pulled back inside the channel and then fired to the upside. So intraday today, I've been trading this too intraday. If we extend the pivot channel here intraday on EKSO, you'll see it's probably kind of following this. Let's extend this to the right because that's our pivot. You can see there's not really been any closes under there. And these are 1 minute charts, so obviously you can close 1 minute, but this one might be done for today. Other than kind of bouncing along this trend line, then if it gets above the 830 area, there's some selling energy again. So I'd be cautious on this too. It seems like above 850 it runs into a lot of resistance, and then obviously the 870 lines up perfectly with our prior pivot level. So be careful with that. There are some stocks that I kind of like. We've been talking about MEIP for a while, this little micro cap bio with a nice pipeline. Today it's actually strong, up 4% today. It seems to be pretty resilient. RPRX, we like this a lot too, this bio. You can see a little bit of a pullback. It's had a nice little run here the last few days, from all the way down at 48.90 up to 50 and change. But if you look at the 1 year in here, it's a new issue, so it's going to be kind of weird looking on the 1 year chart. But we can kind of zoom in and see it's creating this little wedge. Once again, I'm just using little Mickey Mouse bar charts to kind of show you. This is the best looking chart, obviously, but you get the idea. As long as we don't close below, let's say 48.90, we should be fine here. Maybe we go up and retest that channel and push it up and upper end. A couple other ones too that I like that are some resilient ones. I think the bios are just good in this market, to be honest with you. Everything else is kind of suspect here. Spotify has been raging absolutely out of control. I was short that and covered before the big move to the upside. You have another IPO, FMTX, that has been super resilient. Let's look at the 1 year chart on this. Amazing, right? I mean, you kind of get down to 37s and then you're firing back up. Now every day you're getting all-time closing highs on FMTX. Foreman Therapeutics, beautiful looking chart on that one as well. Up 6% today. And then you can see stuff like, what else do we got here? KC, which has been a King Cloud. Kingsoft Cloud Holdings, which is an IPO. This has been super strong. Trying to form another bull flag before it breaks to a new high. Look at this thing as low as 17. So be cautious, we're almost getting a double there. So here you have this IPO, and you're like, wow, I'm holding in for 3 days, and then it just completely tanks, right? And then it goes back up and retests that high, pulls back a little bit, and then fires to the upside. So we could get that same pattern in RPRX. Unbelievable. And King Cloud Software. Super strong in this market. Super strong. So I like that one as well. Spotify, unbelievable. I don't even have to tell you about that one. That's just pure momentum. Stuff like Facebook strong today, but how long can this go on? Where you have this bifurcated market with the NASDAQ just completely holding up while S&P and the rest of everything else looks weak. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Something's got to give here soon. I also like NET. We've liked that forever. Cloudflare. I mean, this has been super strong. NET. If the market gets a little bit weaker, this would be great. If I could get this around 32, 33, but it's refusing. It's up $1.31 today. So very narrow list of stocks I'm interested in. Obviously, Zoom has been really strong. Nuance, NUAN, I like. LOVE has been strong. These are other biotechs. But keep an eye on those bios that I just said, like RPRX. And let's look at our famous TVIX before we leave here. Probably not the best instrument to buy if we're looking for that pullback to 297, because I think that move happens in a slow grind. I don't really think that it really happens in a fast enough fashion to help out TVIX. And we just broke the wedge today too on TVIX that it kind of needed to hold the momentum. The 160 area probably should have been sold. When you're coming from areas of complacency to areas of fear, buying TVIX in the areas of complacency when it got down to the 125s the other day was fine. And then selling it into fear. But now fear is back. So now you're buying it into a market that's kind of already concerned, right? So once again, if you're going to do that, you really have to sell the strength and then buy the weakness. But the momentum is definitely out of it here. Let's see if it can back test the 148, 149 area. If the market rolls over like I suspect it might late into the day, you might have that happen. But let's be cautious here on the market.